Hey everyone, What If Fan here, bringing you another exciting part of What If becoming a mangaka in One Piece world. You can find the fanfic title and the original author's name on my Patreon page. Make sure to check it out and show them some love. If you enjoy the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. Alright, let's jump into it. Chapter 771, Akainu vs. Belmere. What is this? A brilliantly glowing golden sphere burst forth from within the barrier area and shot out at an incredible speed, barely visible to the crowd within the barrier due to its intense brightness. Before Sakazuki, who was trapped, or Brindy World and the rest of his team who were surrounding Sakazuki could comprehend what was happening, a giant golden bird tens of meters in length appeared in the air, spreading its fiery wings. Scree! The sharp cry of the golden crow drew attention to it. Incredible! Did the Hunter Guild send another legendary hunter to deal with the Admiral? Vice Admiral Doberman felt a deep fear at this moment. Interesting. Seeing the arrival of Belmere, Redfield smiled and discarded the idea of intervening to prevent someone from dying. If this battle-obsessed woman is here, why would he intervene? Under the gaze of many, the three-legged golden crow gradually vanished, replaced by a woman with long, flowing red hair and a beautiful face resembling Nami's. She was clearly a beautiful, mature woman, no longer the teenager she was when Rob first met her. Belmere descended from the sky and landed smoothly on the ground, fixing her gaze on the significant destruction caused by the Hunter World, who indeed had a world-destroying power against the Magma Admiral, widely known as the Marine's Mad Dog. So, you are the infamous Mad Dog of the Marine? Belmere spoke as she saw Akainu. She had previously faced off against the Monkey's Face Kizaru and the Ice Admiral Akiji, but this was her first encounter with this globally despised admiral. After the events of the Marineford arc, most people despised Akainu for mercilessly killing Ace, believing Ace didn't deserve to die as he had done nothing to warrant such a fate. Hey, what's the matter? Before he could finish, he checked himself, not wanting the husband of this woman to come here because of his words. If that happened, he would indeed die without a grave. He was well aware of the vast power difference between him and that man, his severed hand being proof of that. I am Sakazuki, the admiral known as Akainu. What do you want from me, miss? He said politely. I can't believe the Mad Admiral of the Marine is speaking politely. Do you think I am weak because I am a lady? Seeing this, World unconsciously stepped back. He was well aware that this woman had come here for him, but the look in her eyes at that moment was locked on the Admiral, meaning one thing. Everyone is going to get a severe beating. World thought internally. Tell me, Admiral, whose fire do you think is stronger, your magma or my flame? Saying that, Belmere's right hand burst into searing golden flame and moved like lightning to Akainu's side. Boom! Half of Akainu's body turned into magma in response to the woman known as the Golden Crow's Flame, a legendary creature made of searing golden flame, said to have been born from a true sun. This meant that the temperature of the woman's flame could be compared at least to the temperature of the surface of the sun. The magma temperatures can range from 700 to 1,200 degrees Celsius, and even if it exceeds that, it can reach about 1,300 degrees Celsius in rare cases. However, the temperature of the surface of the sun is around 5,500 to 6,000 degrees Celsius. Clearly, here it is evident who has the stronger flame. He was not facing a normal Logia user of flame. He was facing a legendary creature related to the sun. Sakazuki's expression changed as he felt as though his hand was burning despite being in a state of molten lava, his expression a reaction to the pain. Just an initial clash and he had already lost due to the woman's natural superiority. But that was all. Sakazuki hardened his hand with strong armament haki, and the terrible pain he was feeling disappeared. Boom! He used his physical strength to push Belmere away from him. If this woman wanted a battle, he would give her a satisfying one. Hey, you have some strength. I thought you needed to age a bit to gain such power. Wow. It seems we are oblivious to some interesting things here. Bella's expression turned serious. This man was strong, and she hadn't expected that. Why do you want to fight me? Does the Hunter Guild want direct war with us? I don't think that's a wise choice, Sakazuki said seriously, confident that the fleet admiral had received the news and might already be on his way here. Not only this, but in this era, there is something called the Global Forum, which allows its users to broadcast their daily activities on it and share news and information in real time. In other words, many people present behind the barrier of the art store were broadcasting what was happening here through their accounts, and without a doubt, such an event would be shared widely. This meant that the whole world was watching what was happening here. Retreating was not an option for him, not even when he was fighting Brindy World, let alone now when a higher valued person, this woman, ranked second among legendary hunters, with her power ranking in the upper echelons of her guild, had arrived. If he could defeat her without causing her death, that would be a tremendous momentum in their cold war with the hunters. He would gain many advantages from the world government, and perhaps he might become the next fleet admiral. The government would realize that the resources provided to him had not been wasted. How about this? Let's stop talking and have a real fight. In O'Hara, hearing this through the live broadcast from the screen above the forum bracelet, Rob's expression crinkled. He had sent her to Rainin World, why then had she gone to reign in Akainu instead? This girl is dangerously moody, what am I to do with her? Should I allow her to play a little? She's strong, it won't hurt. Rob smiled and backed away from the idea of going personally. If he went himself, he would have to arrest or kill Akainu, given his crime of sneaking into the central prison previously to smuggle out a condemned prisoner and attempting to kill a legendary hunter. And that was not something he wanted to do, because he had first promised Newgate and Roger that, and he wanted to involve Akainu in his game's world if he survived the chase from Roger in Newgate. Back at Long Ring Long Land Island, the onlookers gaped in astonishment at the epic battle unfolding before them. A giant golden crow with 3 claws and a sharp beak pounced on Admiral Akainu, who summoned magma meteors each time to counter the terrifying mythical creature. With each clash, shockwaves caused houses, trees, and everything in the horizon to be blown away, turning the ground in the battle arena into a flaming hell, with temperatures rising to record levels, fortunately unfelt by the people inside the barrier. Belmir attacked ferociously while Akainu defended with equal intensity, but each time he used a significant amount of haki to prevent the superior heat of her flame from affecting him. In terms of physical strength and haki, he was much stronger, but in terms of devil fruit ability, he was far behind. Tisk, annoying, this woman is extremely dangerous, Akainu muttered in a low voice. At that moment, he wished for backup to arrive. He wouldn't be able to hold out much longer if this woman decided to go all out and use her real capabilities. Okay, I'm done playing. If I keep going, I think dear Rob will really punish me this time. Bella returned to her human form and stuck out her tongue, looking like Nami at that moment, which everyone watching the live broadcast on the forum thought. After saying that, she turned to where Brindy World was standing. Before saying anything else, the man spoke. It's okay, Your Majesty, I'll withdraw my forces and return immediately. Rest assured I won't come back here as soon as you leave. As soon as he said that, he turned and hurriedly left, leaving Belmir staring into the air vacantly. I still want to fight more. Thinking this, she turned to look for Akainu and found he had also vanished on the horizon. Right after that, 2 ships left the harbor at the same time but in different directions. No one wanted to fight this woman anymore. Chapter 772, the first episode of Demon Slayer Season 2. After the departure of the hunters and the marine from the island of Long Ring Long Land, the pirates who remained there breathed a sigh of relief. The recent battle was extremely terrifying for the Grand Line pirates, whose numbers had been significantly decreasing since the beginning of the manga era. At that moment, an astonishing scene occurred. An art store's barrier covered the entire island in a surreal show. As soon as this happened, the fires burning everything on the island, along with the rivers of lava and other potentially disastrous elements, disappeared. In short, the battlefield was cleansed, leaving only the remains. This was the feature of the art store's barrier, which could expel all dangerous elements from within and cast them outwards. All the blazing fires and lava were transferred to the sea, disappearing completely. Witnessing this scene filled the settlers of Long Ring, including Tunjit and his tribe, with overwhelming joy. O'Hara! Have you heard? Are you talking about the fight between Akainu and the Golden Crow? I watched the battle in detail, I didn't just hear about it. Just so you know, Akainu also fought Brindy World Dash. Man, I'm not talking about the legendary Hunter's battle and the Marine Admiral. There's something more important. What's more important? What are you talking about? The man's friend felt confused. What could be more important than the current topic? The topic of the hour was the amazing two-part battle between Admiral Akainu and Brindy World, followed by Belmir, whose strength was terrifyingly immense. These battles were watched by millions through live broadcasts in the global forum at the event site. The second season of Demon Slayer, don't tell me you forgot that? What? I really forgot. When is it? Has the Mugen Train arc already aired? Yes, according to the new trailer that was shown last week, today is the release date for the first episode of the second season. We'll see the Flame Hashira in action. That's awesome. Such discussions were repeated throughout most parts of Ohara, and not just Ohara but around the world. The day was filled with a lot of excitement, and the enthusiasm hadn't died down yet from the first episode of Aoi, which was exceptional by all measures, and many live broadcasts of the battle between Akainu and the two legendary hunters had started, and now, it seemed they had a date with a new episode of the new season of the Swords and Demons anime Demon Slayer in the evening. In Ohara, many people rushed to finish their work quickly so they could join their family gatherings and enjoy the new episode. Wano Country. In the evening, the Shogun's family and supporters gathered at one table to celebrate the return of one of their favorite animes. Is that a train sound? A demon? Too fast, poor man, he died in awe. Kinemon thought the opening song would start. But they didn't expect to see someone die inside the train in just the first moment. Seeing the bloody scene, they instinctively stopped eating. But right after that, a scene of the Flame Hashira eating noodles and repeating, "Delicious, delicious," reignited their appetite. That's the Flame Hashira, Kyajuro Rengoku, indeed, he seems very capable. That's right, he also seems like a very strong samurai, added the former shogun Sukiyaki. This demon world is very dangerous. Humans have no resistance against them, only the strong samurais can resist, said Denjiro. We don't know how many demons are out there, but the number of samurai seems few, added Ashura Doji. The episode continued to be displayed, and samurais all over Wano watched with enjoyment. Especially when the Flame Hashira reached Mugen Train and the fast demon appeared. Seeing Rengoku's speed as he ran on the train track using flame breathing, the samurais in the land of Wano felt a sense of shame. His speed was amazing as he easily surpassed the demon targeting the little girl and her grandmother. I like this man's mood. On board the Aro Jackson, Roger smiled as he watched Rengoku's confrontation against the fast demon. That's right, he has a great mood, replied Rayleigh while enjoying his special sake. He also looks like a flame, this man is perfectly suited for this devil fruit. Roger took out the flame fruit from his pocket and gazed at it with a smile. Isn't that for little Ace? Gabun said, puzzled, looking at the flame fruit in Roger's hand. Oh. So fast. What a wonderful intervention. This is amazing. Suddenly, Roger Pirates applauded as they saw the Flame Hashira save the little girl who did not believe in demons from the clutches of the fast demon who was trying to strangle her to death. This Hashira is very heroic. This demon is definitely dead. In his eyes, it's too slow. Ah ha ha ha. This is fun. This demon wanted to challenge him in speed, but he responded that it was too slow before sending him to hell. Roger's Pirates enjoyed this episode a lot even though it was only the first one. Well, then it seems the episode is over, it was very good. Roger gazed at the horizon and put the devil fruit back in his pocket again. Not far from the Aro Jackson, a row of marine ships surrounded the warship that had arrived not long ago, carrying Admiral Akainu who had escaped from Long Ring Long Land. Shall we start the new thing now? Domain of the Gods, Marigoa. Episode's events. Damn. As soon as he failed to target the little girl, the demon quickly targeted her grandmother this time. The grandmother stepped back, terrified of the demon. You old hag, you will wish you hadn't. Before the demon could finish his speech, Rengoku arrived where he was. "How did you manage to catch up with me?" The demon was still puzzled about how this demon slayer had managed to catch up with him, knowing that the distance was not short but several kilometers. "I think I told you not to be conceited," Rengoku replied calmly. "Why don't we see who is faster? Will I be the first to cut this old hag's throat, or will you be the one to take my head first?" The demon began to sweat because he realized he was facing a high-level demon slayer. "There's no need to test that. Because you..." Before the flame Hashira could finish his speech, the demon's head had already been cut off. Slow. Flame breathing. First form. Ignorant flames. This demon is very confident in his speed, isn't he? Are all the demons in this world this foolish? This flame breathing technique is interesting. I wonder how this flame is generated. Seeing how the flame Hashira easily cut off the demon's head, even mocking his slowness, Saint Figureland was very curious about these breathing techniques. The Holy Knights were specifically interested in this anime because of these breathing techniques, as the world government gave them the green light to study these techniques and try to master them. Among the great breathing techniques that Figureland is trying to master, this flame breathing technique is his specialty. Mugen Train arc, isn't it? I think I will enjoy and benefit a lot from this arc. Saint Figureland smiled as the episode ended. "Sir Saint, something urgent has happened. The 5 elders have given us orders to intervene." As the episode ended, one of the Holy Knights ran to where Figureland and the others were gathered. "What happened? Speak quickly." Saint Figureland stood ready. Roger, pirates are surrounding the marine fleet accompanying Admiral Sakazuki. It seems Roger has achieved his goal. Chapter 773, The Counter-Execution War. Those damn pirates. Seeing the Roger pirates flag fluttering in the wind atop the Aro Jackson, Sakazuki cursed loudly. "What brings you here, Roger? Don't tell me it's a coincidence." Standing atop his naval fleet, Sengoku narrowed his eyes as he spoke in this critical moment, with others present there as well. "Wahaha! Is that you, Sengoku? It's been a long time since our last meeting. I mean, the eras have changed between our last and current meeting, isn't that fascinating?" Placing his hands in his jacket pockets, Roger laughed as he said this. Roger stood at the front of the ship with Rayleigh and the rest, all of them focusing their eyes on the warship carrying Akainu, ignoring Sengoku and his companions. Their looks carried a deep grudge against this admiral. Each time the image of his hand piercing through Ace's back in the future appeared in their minds. We must prevent that future from happening at all costs. This was their shared thought, and the best way to do that was to eliminate this vile admiral here and now. Roger, pirates. Do you wish to wage war against us, the marine fleet? Pirates no longer play a role in this world. You carry no weight. No prestige anymore. Our real enemies now are the hunters. Sengoku mocked, trying to shake the pirate's spirit with his loud voice. Hey, but I'm not just any ordinary pirate, Sengoku, you know well who I am. Roger paused for a moment before adding, I am the Pirate King, Gold Roger. Sengoku's forehead trembled after hearing that. He hesitated for a bit before he earnestly requested, Roger. Can you back down now? It would be in both our interests. I see no benefit for you here. Wahahaha. Sengoku, you are still far too far from your future self in terms of wisdom, you still lack a lot. Roger laughed, before grabbing his sword, Ace, and slowly drawing it from its sheath. Roger! Are you foolish? What do you want? Revenge for an event that appeared in the manga? Where's the logic in that? Sengoku transformed into a giant golden Buddha before yelling that. As terrifying red sparks of Conqueror's haki shivered around Roger's sword at that moment, Roger laughed before saying, Wahahaha. What do you think is illogical about this? One Piece manga has always been right. Tell me, how many celestial dragons called you wanting Akainu's head just because they are fans of my son Ace and were saddened by his death? Even the pigs you've been breeding for generations were convinced of the necessity of my son's life in this world when they learned his story. Why hasn't someone like Akainu been convinced of that then? Roger pointed his sword at Sengoku and said, "Sengoku, I'm not here for revenge for what happened in the manga. That was indeed a sad scene that caused deep sorrow to my wife and a big psychological shock to her. I am here to rid the world of a scourge. This man's justice is tyrannical enough to necessitate his death. It doesn't matter what happened to him in the past to become this tyrannical, the important thing is that he became this way indeed, and this mistake must be corrected. Admiral Akainu must die here and now. I will not allow him to go into the future." As soon as he said that, Roger leaped from the Oro Jackson and rushed towards Sengoku, who also leaped. "TSK. You got what you wanted." Sengoku also jumped in the form of the Golden Buddha. Boom! A resounding clash of two users of Conqueror Haki caused the clouds in the sky to split. Seeing this, the rest of Roger's pirates leaped towards other marine ships. In the waters of the Jaya Sea, another comprehensive war began, later to be called the Counter-Execution War. Days after the events of the Pirate and Marine War. In the Central Prison. Hasn't it shown up yet? Please. I want a solo leveling magazine. Just one from the new release would suffice for me. Stop shouting, you're annoying me. Boom! A kick from behind caused Moria's face to collide with the bars of the cell, causing him intense pain. Damn you! Golden Lion, what's the matter with you? You always kick me so harshly. Moria shouted angrily as he rubbed his swollen nose. There's no other entertainment in this prison other than bullying you, Moria. PFFF, I've gotten really bored. I want a solo leveling magazine too. Order to, you fool. Then say it gently and not violently. If I weren't bound by sea stone handcuffs, I would have long turned you into one of my special shadow soldiers. Ha! You want to turn me into your special shadow soldier, said Shiki. Before Moria could react, he was kicked again. Ugh! Stop that, I was joking. Hat, I know you weren't joking. Seeing Moria, who fell away, Shiki lost interest and returned to the bracelet in his hand to browse more about what happened in the outside world a few days ago. Oh, interesting. It seems Roger went berserk this time. Ah, I wish I were free. I would have enjoyed what's happening at sea these days. Shiki lamented his luck for not participating in the latest war named the Counter-Execution War, which almost saw the famous Marine Admiral executed. He barely survived Roger's sword. In the picture on the forum, Akainu appeared drenched in blood, completely resigned to his fate, while Roger stood holding his sword ready to behead the admiral on his warship after a battle that destroyed dozens of warships and the sea boiled beside them. The moment in the picture was the critical juncture between an ending and a new beginning. After that, Shiki browsed other pictures showing 5 terrifying creatures that appeared out of nowhere and chased Roger's pirates away. These are the 5 elders. What terrible power the world government possesses. Is this that foolish leader of the Holy Knights? Upon closer inspection, he resembles Shanks a lot. Lucky for the admiral, it seems the world government did not want him dead and sent all its power to prevent Roger from taking his head, but with those injuries left by Roger, can he really live? Suddenly at that moment, 2 magazines fell to the ground, thrown from outside the cell. Seeing the magazines, Moria's eyes sparkled with excitement, and he quickly jumped to pick one up. Boom! Before he could grab his magazine, he was kicked again. Haven't you learned common manners yet? Elders first. Shiki picked up one magazine on its cover featuring Sung Jinwoo surrounded by shadow soldiers, while he threw the other magazine on Moria's unconscious face. Well then, since I'm imprisoned and can't entertain myself at sea, I'll gladly entertain myself with these interesting stories. I wish I had the chance to go to the worlds of these stories and make the inhabitants of these worlds see the greatness of the Golden Lion. Jahahaha. Shiki opened the monthly solo leveling magazine, which contained a full arc with an exciting title. Jeju Island Arc. Chapter 774, Solo Leveling, Jeju Island Arc. Part 1. I don't understand why we have to provide manga and magazines to these scum and even let them enjoy anime shows. In the central prison, Yasop was puzzled. No matter how much he thought about it, he couldn't understand why someone like Rob would allow prisoners to enjoy such freedoms. I think Boss Rob is very smart. Although he might have another goal by allowing the prisoners to read his collections, especially focusing on high-value prisoners like Golden Lion Shiki and Gecko Moria, I think he does it to let them enter a state of constant comfort, perhaps so they don't think about escaping again and serve their time obediently. After much thought, Beckman replied wisely. "Ha? You said all that and you still think there's an additional undisclosed reason?" Yasop's eyes widened, finding the reason Beckman gave enough to prevent him from thinking about another hidden motive. That's because, simply put, someone like Boss Rob is unpredictable. Every move he makes must have many reasons and consequences behind it. If he doesn't want to disclose it, it's better to leave it that way. It's for our own good. Hearing that, Yasop shivered and decided not to think too much like his smart companion. Today's volume of Solo Leveling looks promising. Many hunters praise it, Beckman said, smiling as he looked at the manhwa in his hands. Jeju Island arc, huh? It looks eventful. It seems to be about an S-rank gate, Yasop replied, smiling as well. An S-rank gate? That's a real disaster then. Yes, this ant calamity must have caused massive damage to the island. Doesn't that mean we're in for a big war? We'll see a lot of S-rank hunters. Ha ha ha. More importantly, our hunter son Jinwoo is definitely going to show off. Let's read the new arc quickly. I'm really excited. Weren't you going to see your wife in syrup? Beckman wondered. It's okay, I can spend a little time at the guild before going back. I mean, it won't hurt, right? You should ask Ban China about that instead of me. I'm not qualified to give you an accurate answer, Beckman said mercilessly, shaking Yasop's spirit. After Yasop and Beckman left, Moria opened his eyes and found a book covering his vision. He hurriedly threw it away in anger. But before he could rage, he realized that the book he threw was what he had been asking for all along. Solo Leveling Magazine. He quickly opened the magazine and started reading eagerly. The recent events were still fresh in his mind, so as soon as he began reading the new chapters, he remembered everything. Oh! Jinwoo's mother seems to be in good health, what a wonderful effect of that magic potion. Oh! Kaisel's appearance caused quite a stir. What? They're going on a raid to Jeju Island and need Jinwoo with them? Well, maybe he'll go alone and be enough to clean it up entirely, Kiyoshi. Wow! So many S-rank hunters. Does Japan really have this many S-rank hunters? Lower your voice or I'll kick you again. In his excessive excitement, Moria forgot the presence of a beast like the Golden Lion in the same cell. Manawa's events. The operation will launch in 4 days. We'll be going to Jeju Island to exterminate those damn ants. At this moment, Go Gunhee was speaking with Jinwoo after requesting his presence at the Hunter Association personally. All of South Korea has longed for the reclamation of Jeju Island. Please fight with us. At this stage, President Go seemed to be begging Jinwoo to fight with them. Hearing this, Jinwoo thought silently. Under normal circumstances, I'd jump at the opportunity to go somewhere with high-ranking beasts so that I can level up, but... He remembered his mother who had just been released from the hospital, and felt obliged to spend more time with her after the calamity. Before he could apologize as he was about to refuse, Jinwoo felt strong auras nearby. Mana waves? Is something wrong? President Go asked. Nothing serious. It just seems like there are hunters fighting somewhere nearby. Ha ha ha, as expected. Your senses are sharp. I'm impressed you felt that from such a distance away. President Go laughed with increasing admiration. The S-rank hunters are probably warming up in the gym right now. Perhaps that's what you felt? S-rank hunters? Jinwoo was surprised. Yes, they're warming up because there are only 4 days left until the Jeju Island raid, Go Gunhee announced. The Japanese S-rank hunters, including Gotoruji, are all here as well, he added. Gotoruji? Are you talking about? The morning sun shone on the famous Marineford building, which had gained more fame after the Summit War in the One Piece manga. Marines were active in their work here and there without rest. After all, the threat of hunters was escalating, and the pirate leaders in the harsh world had become extremely fierce recently as well. Even the Revolutionary Army, supported by the former Marine hero, was acting strangely recently after the Five Elders and the Holy Knights had to appear at sea. Inside the Fleet Admiral's office, Sengoku carefully read the first chapter, reading the words of Gogunhei and Sung Jinwoo slowly. I feel a kinship with the president of the Hunter Association. Is it because we have similar positions? No, maybe because he's a very wise old man, Sengoku said with a smile. Are you interested in hunters now? Suru suddenly entered the Fleet Admiral's office and found him browsing the famous hunter manhwa. Suru-chan? Well, this manhwa gives me some ideas about how hunters think. It's somewhat nice to see how a hunter grows. By the way, how is Sakazuki? Hunters in our world are just licensed pirates by a higher authority. In my opinion, there is a fundamental and vast difference between them and hunters from the modern world, Suru said, glancing at the scene Sengoku was looking at. As for Sakazuki, his condition is stable at the moment. Roger was using haki recklessly in his fight with Sakazuki. It was deadly and ruthless, leaving deep wounds that are hard to heal even for an admiral. But fortunately, he will live. Facing Roger's entire crew put me in a difficult position. I couldn't save Sakazuki from Roger's hands. Rayleigh alone seemed like a second Roger on the battlefield. If only Garp were still with us, Roger and his crew wouldn't dare do as they please. Hearing this, Sengoku sighed with regret. Roger's pirates nearly annihilated their navy fleet in that reverse execution war that day. If it weren't for the intervention of the Five Elders and the Holy Knights, Roger's pirates could have executed Sakazuki without much effort. We have underestimated the pirates greatly since the appearance of the hunters. We forgot who the true rulers of the sea were and our enemies for generations and started considering them unconsciously without any threat. The Pirate King really made us remember who the pirates are. Suru also sighed. Don't worry about Sakazuki, he's strong-willed and stubborn, he'll definitely recover. Why wouldn't I worry? Whitebeard still wants to target him too. Before Sengoku could sigh, two more people entered the office. This time, neither Whitebeard nor Roger will succeed in their goals. Sakazuki won't be alone anymore. Suddenly, Kuzan and Borsellino entered the Fleet Admiral's office, holding the latest solo leveling magazine in their hands as well. Seeing this, Sengoku felt a bit relieved. It wouldn't be easy to defeat the three admirals, who were as strong as their manga counterparts thanks to exchanging their ages for power in the admiral training program they participated in the past under the supervision of the Five Elders and Lord Imo personally. In the Calm Belt, specifically in Impel Down. Impel Down was still under repair from the destruction it had suffered last month. Since Magellan regained his position as warden, the workload had increased significantly. But every time a new update of solo leveling was released, he found time to read it by tricking Hannibal into taking over for him. Saying words like, "You're the new warden for the next 3 hours," did the trick every time. Now, Magellan was completely relaxed in the toilet, browsing the chapters with curiosity and excitement. Wow! Is more EXP and leveling up coming already? Jinwoo just finished the Demon Castle, President Go. I bet this Go to Ruji will fight Jinwoo and get his money. He looks very arrogant. This is Baek Yunho's power, huh? He can really transform? Ma Dongwook? Is this a Korean S-rank hunter? He looks strong. And what was Choi Jongyun's power, a flame mage? I remember his ability in the previous arc looked like he ate Ace's fruit. Ace, sigh. When Magellan remembered Ace, memories of the Summit War and what happened in it came back to his mind, and he felt very sad. Even as a world government employee, Magellan was deeply saddened by what happened to Ace, perhaps because both of them were deceived by Blackbeard. Speaking of Blackbeard, Magellan hated him very much, both the manga version and Teach in reality, who was still hiding somewhere. The power of an S-rank hunter is equivalent to an admiral's power in our world. Can I be considered an S-rank hunter when I reach my peak strength? Magellan wondered while seeing the destructive power of the clash between Baek Yunho, who wasn't using all his strength, and Ma Dongwook. The shockwaves from the clash alone were enough to crush ordinary impel-down guards. Oh! So many new faces. Are these S-rank hunters from another country? How many S-rank hunters are there in the world then? Magellan marveled. Chapter 775, Solo Leveling, Jeju Island Arc. Part 2. Kayashishishishishi. Look at him, he's sweating. Kishishishi. After Moria finished reading Chapter 93, which featured an incredible battle between Gotoruji and Jinwoo, he burst out laughing at the sight of Gotoruji's sweaty face. Jahahaha. He was so arrogant a moment ago. If he had gone on any longer, the system would have given Jinwoo an urgent quest to kill him. At that point, no one could save him. If he didn't die, Jinwoo would be the one to die next. Jahahaha. The Golden Lion was also enjoying the fantastic fight between the hunters from South Korea and those from Japan. It seems the manhwa has become even more exciting. Keishishishi. Gotoruji did not expect a skilled hunter like Jinwoo to be in Korea, did he? Outside the prison, at the Ring Hell Island art store, the hunters were thoroughly enjoying the chapters of the thrilling arc. It's impossible for Gotoruji to believe that Jinwoo was a mage-class hunter. Gagia Jaya. They didn't even sense the shadow soldiers Jinwoo left in their shadows. Are all S-rank hunters weak, or is Jinwoo's rank higher than theirs? Gabababa. Today's solo leveling update coincided with the presence of the giants Bragi and Dori at the guild. Inside the art store, their size was adjusted to be just like that of small humans, so they loved to stay inside the art store for as long as possible during the day. Move on to the next chapter quickly. It's amazing how the sequence of events keeps escalating with excitement. Are they finally going to Jeju Island? Now we can find out the story of that flying ant. Do you think there will be a powerful monster waiting for them? An S-rank dungeon? Maybe it will be the Ant King Maruam himself waiting for them. BFFFT. Ha? What? Hearing what Beckman said, Yas up he Bragi, and Dori spat out the wine they had just drunk in shock. Ah, what did you make me think of, man? The Ant King Maruam. That brings back memories. It's an S-rank dungeon, the monster there must be very strong, and they will definitely need Sung Jinwoo with them. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like he plans to join. Beckman sighed in regret. Ohara. In the art store, Doflamingo and his companions were gathered, reading today's exciting update of solo leveling. Oh, this man is really smart. Seeing how Baek Yunho believed Jinwoo had the ability to level up, Daffy praised the man's intelligence. Baek Yunho? It seems his ability is to transform into a white beast or something like that. Like a Zoan user. Enel added, astonished. The thing is, this man encountered Jinwoo in different situations and sensed his level every time. His senses must be sharp enough to detect the exact strength of the other party, hence this realization. Vegapunk spoke. Also, Jinwoo evolves quickly. It makes sense for one or two people to notice this anomaly, added Professor Clover. What can't be noticed or explained is the system that helps Jinwoo evolve. Brooke was impressed by what was called the system. The system, huh? How wonderful it would be to have something similar in grind levels, Fufufu Daffy laughed. It seems you've been playing a lot of level up games lately, Daffy. Soon, the games will move from the PlayStation to reality, and you'll be able to experience the feeling of leveling up for real. At that moment, Rob, who had been listening silently with a smile the entire time, spoke. Huh? Daffy didn't understand what his teacher meant, but Mihawk narrowed his eyes with curiosity. In Sky Island, the readers there continued reading the chapters of the Jeju Island raid with curiosity. But in the final scenes of Chapter 96, the readers' eyes widened and their breathing intensified. Monster! My god! It destroyed the heads of the S-rank hunters with ease. What a terrifying monster! Is it the Queen's Guard? No, it can't be. This is the Ant King. The monster was so fast that even its body did not appear while finishing off 3 Japanese S-rank hunters. Only the monster's eyes were visible. Afterward, the monster caused a massacre among the Japanese hunters and destroyed the Korean hunters after they thought they had completed the raid by killing the Ant Queen. In the art store at Upper Yard, the Shandian leader was astonished. Even Goto Ruji was killed by this monster. My God! In the art store on Angel Street, Gonfall was more excited, and the reason was, my God! Jin Woo has finally arrived. In the Sky Island, Arabasta, King Cobra was confused. The king? Is that ant still looking for the king of humans? Jin Woo is here, you must run. Manawa's events. Are you the king of the humans? The ant monster walked toward Jin Woo with immense magical power flowing from it. A talking insect? Huh, replied Jin Woo. Jin Woo and the insect stood facing each other, their magical powers overwhelmingly intense for the close viewers. You have quite a threatening presence, human. As soon as he said that, he used a dominant aura to intimidate Jin Woo. Now you're behaving more like an insect. Jin Woo mocked. After punching him hard in the face, the Ant King thought Jin Woo had been obliterated. You are weak. You must not be the key dash. But before he could finish his words, he was shocked to see the human man still standing where he was, with only minor damage. Skill, the commander's touch has been activated. Now Jin Woo has become serious. Back at the central prison, Moria was going crazy with excessive excitement. Seeing the Ant King, who was strong and invincible moments ago, turning into a plaything in Jin Woo's hands, Moria felt unparalleled satisfaction. Especially since this battle was being broadcast and the whole world was watching it. Kiyoshishishi. You damn ant. Now you know who the king is, right? Soon, you'll become subordinate to the king, just wait. Keishishishi. Shut up. You're annoying me. Arg. In Marigoa, exactly on the empty throne at the top of the government hall. Fufufu, an interesting level of power. This ant is somewhat strong, but in front of Sung, he can't do anything. Do all ant kings have a certain level of terrifying power? I should raise one. It would be nice to have an ant king as a pet instead of a dragon. Fufufu. Meanwhile, Imo continued to enjoy the rest of the scenes and turn the pages. In the end, the arc concluded as expected, with Jinwoo taking all the spotlight. And the excellent Shadow Soldier Peru made his appearance. Chapter 776, let's see the story of Little Ace. Start of the post-war arc from here. Batarilla, away from the noise of the city, in a beautiful suburban home. Rouge, is everything alright? Roger entered Rouge's room after asking for permission. Rouge's beautiful body lay on the bed, looking like a sleeping angel at that moment. Roger noticed the tear streaks on her cheeks as she slept. Roger sighed as he saw the scene. Since the recent event, Rouge seemed to have changed. She looked less like her enthusiastic self, despite knowing that Ace, who had died in the manga, had started to form as a fetus in Rouge's womb. There's still something missing for your inner peace, isn't there? I feel the same way too. I asked Rob about this, and he told me that Ace's story isn't over yet. In the next arc, which will be released in 2 days, we'll witness the final part of his story. Maybe then you'll find inner peace, and I will too. Roger spoke the last part softly, then left the delicious lamb dish he had personally prepared on the side table and left the room. Rouge opened her eyes when her husband left. Just as Roger said, she still couldn't come to terms with Ace's brutal death in the manga. It was extremely hard. She hadn't found inner peace, even with the thought that she was pregnant with Ace and that he would come into the world, and she wouldn't let anything harm him. A slight smile appeared on her beautiful face when she saw the dish her husband had prepared for her. After all, she was pregnant, and she deserved such care, didn't she? 2 days, huh? I'll wait eagerly then, to see if you had a good childhood, Rouge muttered as she ate the steamed roasted lamb. Outside the house, Roger, who had just stepped out, gazed calmly at the blue sky. Suddenly, he lit a cigar and started smoking. I can't believe he survived. Someone I wanted dead. By saying that, he was referring to Akainu, whose death the Marines had not announced yet. He had nearly killed him that day if it weren't for the intervention of the 5 elders. Had they say I ran away? Interesting. 5 days ago. Roger, that's enough, retreat or the one to be executed here will be you. Saint Saturn, who was in the form of the devil bull monster, spoke coldly. The other elders, in their monster forms, also fixed their terrifying auras on Roger, Rayleigh, and Gabon. Boom! Roger waved his sword, and sparks of Conqueror's Haki clashed with the elders' Conqueror's Haki, creating a terrifying wave that blew Shanks and Buggy away. Roger looked at Shanks and Buggy, who were still too young for such a destructive battle, and sheathed his sword. He turned and addressed Rayleigh and Gabon. We're leaving. That's how Roger and his crew retreated back then, they didn't run away or anything like that. Sigh. The 5 elders and those behind them still think the world is in their hands. Wahahaha. With Rob around, there's no need for Joy Boy's return. Your era is over, you are now just remnants of an age. When the manga ends, that will be the day the world returns to being one piece as it was, and an all-blue sea as it was. Then there will be no need for pirates, no marines, no world government, the whole world will live in freedom and harmony as they once did. Roger exhaled the smoke from his cigar as he finished saying what was on his mind. Manawa's events. Level up. Did I reach level 100? Jinwoo, who was returning to the place where he killed the Ant King, was surprised by the settlement notification. Name, Sung Jinwoo. Level, 100. Finally, when Jinwoo found the Ant King's corpse, he felt from it a fierce desire for release from death. Arise. One word was enough to fulfill the dead Ant King's desire. The world around Jinwoo darkened at the moment he summoned the shadow. Why is it so dark? I can't feel anything. Is this happening because I tried extracting its shadow? Or maybe the extraction failed? Jinwoo wondered in surprise, but suddenly he was interrupted by a voice from behind. Ah, and I'm back. Jinwoo was shocked and turned to see who it was. You have successfully extracted a shadow. For a second there, I thought I had failed. Jinwoo smiled as he looked at the majestic beast he had summoned. It looked very strong. Even its rank was extremely high. LV-1. Rank, General. The beast with a powerful aura knelt before Jinwoo. Back at the central prison. Moria and the Golden Lion finished the magnificent volume with expressions full of satisfaction. Although it's not as long as One Piece, just 17 chapters of endless excitement made me feel full. Keisha Shishi. General? What a strong shadow soldier. When he was alive, he was terrifying. Now that he's a shadow soldier, he'll be even more terrifying in the future. Shiki praised. Paru? What a fitting name. Moria admired. Jihahaha. He can speak. He seems like an amusing subordinate. He became as obedient as a lamb after becoming a shadow soldier. Hey, Moria, what do you think? Can you subdue such a beast? Shiki asked mockingly. Don't joke. I can't match his speed. He'd kill me before I even display my power. What a shame. I thought you were the next Shadow Monarch. I need Jinwoo's strength and speed to become one. But my shadow skills will surely cover this flaw one day when I get out of this stupid prison. Keisha Shishi. Whole Cake Island. Mama. Mama. Ha ha ha. Terrifying. What a power. The power to summon the dead to life. That's just like me, isn't it? Ha ha. No, Linlin, you can give part of your soul to inanimate objects. You can't resurrect the dead. Rob, who came to visit Linlin and play around a bit, laughed. After all, she was his concubine. Oh dear, can I get such power? Linlin looked at Rob with weak eyes that didn't match her personality or identity, leaving him speechless. I wonder how she'll react when she sees her shape in the manga. Rob thought internally before answering. Of course, in the world of the supernatural, there is no power you can't obtain, my dear. Ha! Even Jinwoo's power? Yes, even Jinwoo's power. 2 days later, aboard the Moby Dick. Although the wind didn't move in the calm belt, the moment Whitebeard stood up excitedly from his seat, he caused strong kinetic winds. "Has it already been released?" he said loudly. "Yes, Oyaji, and in large quantities already." "What's the title on the cover?" "The volume's title is Post-War Arc." "Gorarara! It's finally out. Let's see the story of Little Ace." Chapter 777, Summit War Saga, Post-War Arc. Part 1. On this anticipated day, a curtain of light rose above every art store in the world, which numbered in the hundreds already at this time. The light curtain was the well-known art store screen, catching the attention of millions of people around the world, who were eagerly waiting to visit the art store and get their own volume. Light screen? Is it another advertisement? In Ohara, a young man in his early 20s looked at his friend and wondered. "I think so, today is just One Piece manga day, there's no simultaneous broadcast." His friend replied confidently. "We're tired of ads. I want the green light, Rob-san. I want to see the golden doors of the art store open." Not far from the two young men, a man in his 30s was staring at the light screen, annoyed. "No doubt people have become impatient since the last arc a month ago. Actually, I'm also impatient. I want to get my hands on the new volume quickly." The advertisement segment that people all over Ohara thought was the reason for the light screen was promoting news about the hunters, progress on building skyports, and the sea train tracks worldwide, as well as trailers for new anime or novels and more. Suddenly, as the impatient people were at the end of their nerves, music from another world began to fill their ears one by one. All over the world, men and women, young and old, froze and focused their gazes on the huge screen visible across the island and even around its coasts. A small girl appeared, or rather, a little angel with half-red, half-white wings like the people of Skypiea but unique. What stood out more was her half-red, half-white hair. The little girl was playing the piano, seemingly the source of the enchanting music. Above the girl, in the sky, a familiar scene unfolded for those who were captivated by her resonant playing. With the first words of the song, the world fell silent. "I recall that day, we played together by the sea musical note, just you and me." With the music's tune, the Marineford Square before the start of the Summit War awaited Whitebeard's arrival. 100,000 Marine soldiers appeared, followed by the Shichibukai, one by one, then the three admirals sitting on their chairs. Finally, Ace was sitting on the execution platform, as the girl's song seemed to be about him. "Still, that scent of the ocean seems to fade each passing day." Musical note, it slips away, so I sing an old familiar song. I hope you know the one. Musical note. Whitebeard's pirates appeared one by one in the sky above the girl, then Whitebeard himself stood proudly on his ship, looking towards Ace with a smile as if saying, "I'm here, my son." The harmony between the song and the opening scene of the Summit War was astonishingly wonderful, shaking the viewers to their core. Of course, they heard the song in Japanese, the universal language of this world. The fast clips provided a comprehensive summary of the previous volume's Summit War. At this moment, Mihawk was seen launching a cutting attack towards Whitebeard, which Jozu blocked powerfully. Under the sky, the little girl singing walked with immense loneliness gnawing at her heart. "I will sing to call you back to me." Musical notes. Suddenly, the girl's voice rose, shaking the listeners' souls. "I need you to hear it, need you to believe in." Musical note. Something out there beyond the open sea, out in the starlight. Musical note. In the radiant scene in the sky, Marco the Phoenix intercepted all of Kazara's laser attacks, sending him quickly downward with a powerful kick. As the musical notes rose, dozens of characters fell from the sky. This was the moment when Luffy and his group arrived at the Summit War. "I need you to hear it, need you to believe in." Musical note. The little girl continued to sing with a voice out of this world, causing people to shed tears without even realizing it. "There's a wind stirring my wings, that is always beckoning." Musical note. Calling me above into the open sky. Musical notes. The girl extended the word sky beautifully as Luffy fell from the sky, seemingly towards the little girl who sang longingly. With the rapid succession of scenes, a fierce battle began over who would reach Ace and who would prevent it. The captivating and beautiful musical tunes created a stark contrast with Whitebeard's terrifying power, which split the seas and made Marineford seem like a small ship swaying in the storm. I recall a smile, unshakable and self-assured, musical note invincible. With the girl's song returning, Luffy's confident smile appeared as he aimed to save his brother despite all the strong opponents like Mihawk and Smoker standing in his way. Now it hides behind the breaking waves musical note upon the shore. Yes, I see more musical note. At this moment, Crocodile intervened to save Ace from execution. As the fast-paced clips of the Summit War continued, with each scene showcasing Whitebeard's overwhelming power, the viewers watched in sheer amazement. I know every word and every note, I'd never forget it musical note because I know it came from you. In the next scene, Luffy's unconscious conqueror's haki swept through the battlefield, saving Ace from execution for the second time. The song's words matched the scene astonishingly well, making the listeners feel as if their souls would leave their bodies and enter the battlefield to help Luffy save his brother, easing the little girl's sorrow. Tried my best to hear it musical note trying to believe in you and me having one final goodbye musical notes I'll see you waving. The scenes accelerated to show Ace, who had previously taken a fatal blow from Akainu, embracing his brother and saying his final words. Trying to believe it musical note trying to believe it musical notes. As Ace took his last breath, Luffy went into shock and lost consciousness after a scream of agony. That your song is now my song, through your voice I'll carry on musical note and one day we'll fly, you and I in the open sky musical notes. In Batarilla, Rouge's spirit shook as she saw the Summit War scenes that seemed more alive than in the manga. Ace's Vivre card burning at this moment burned her heart again, and Yuta's song deepened her pain further. Her tears didn't stop flowing, not at all. I need you to hear it, need you to believe in musical note something out there beyond the open sea, out in the starlight musical note. Roger stared in amazement at the light screen displaying this summary with a soul-stirring song. All the memories of the Summit War chapters came back to life at once and in a rapid sequence. The song seemed to describe passing Ace's will to Luffy in its deep lyrics. This is the missing piece. Roger wiped a small tear from the corner of his eye, allowing himself to enjoy the soul-cleansing experience offered by this wonderful song for free. Trying to believe it. I think I believe it musical note. That one day we'll meet again. And continue this dreamland musical note. In the gleaming dawn. We'll wake up once again musical notes. Aboard the Oro Jackson, anchored near Batarilla. Various colors and magic surrounded the little girl under the sky displaying the fast-paced war scenes. This scene reflected in Shanks and the others' eyes, but for Shanks, it felt like the little girl was singing to him. No way, Shanks shook his head in self-mockery, but the smile never left his face, thoroughly enjoying this beautiful song. Who could this little girl be, such pure art? Rayleigh wiped a small tear and smiled too. The song seemed to be ending as the scenes from the previous arc reached their conclusion with Whitebeard's rampage after Ace's death and the destruction of what remained of Marineford. Trying to believe it. Trying to believe in musical notes. Something out there beyond the open sea. Out in the starlight musical note. Back in Ohara, Victoria Sindri, the young woman considered Rob's younger sister and a famous global singer, stared in amazement at the little girl singing with an incredible style. She could feel her spirit yearning to merge into the little girl's world to ease her sorrow and fulfill her aspirations. Amazing, Sindri whispered with tearful eyes. That one day we'll meet again. And continue this dreamland musical note. In the gleaming dawn, we'll wake up. Once again musical notes. In the final words of the song, the scene of Shanks ending the war and retrieving Ace's and Whitebeard's bodies brought endless sorrow to the viewers' hearts. As the last melody ended, people began clapping one by one, then whistling and cheering, only increasing, not diminishing. Oh my God! I feel like I was beside the little girl singing. Who is this little girl? Is she from Skypiea? What an incredible singing ability! From today, I feel I won't be able to sleep without hearing this song. So this was a summary of the summit was to prepare us for the new arc without forgetting any previous details, right? Seriously, how could we forget such great arc events like Marineford? I haven't even forgotten scenes from Buggy's arc and the early arcs, let alone a great arc like Marineford. My tears won't stop. This is the best song I've ever heard in my life. Oh my god. Is this art? I'm looking forward to hearing a new song from her. Boss Rob really takes care of young talents. I want to see this little girl. Whether in reality or in the forum chat, Yuta's song. The world's continuation was a hot topic. This song that Rob admired so much and chose to create an AMV with Marineford war clips as the background song to prepare viewers for the upcoming arc. After the broadcast screen disappeared, Rob smiled, satisfied with people's reactions to seeing and hearing his masterpiece, the AMV he edited earlier to combat boredom. The idea that people thought the girl who sang this song actually existed intrigued Rob. Who is she? This cute little girl? Olivia asked with a smile. Rob could see the tears she wiped away before asking, a sign of her deep emotional impact from the song. Her name is Yuta, Shank's adopted daughter and a close friend of Luffy in their childhood. She's also a future character. You'll see her in this arc. Rob smiled in response to Olivia. Yuta, the semi-filler character, would see the light in the One Piece manga through him, at least a few scenes before appearing fully later. At this moment, the green light from the art store shone, signaling the release of the new volume, Post-War, on the art store shelves. Quickly, men and women rushed to take their places. Chapter 778, Summit War Saga, Post-War Arc. Part 2. On the shores of an unknown island in the Calm Belt. Whitebeard was eager to start reading the new chapters, but the moment Yuta began singing and the light curtain started to display a summary of the Marineford War visually rather than in sketches, Edward Newgate felt like he was entering a dream. His soul seemed to leave his body, and it felt as if he had arrived at a battlefield, standing at the bow of his familiar ship, staring at hundreds of thousands of Marines, including giant soldiers and many powerful figures, among them the Marine admirals. Behind him were armies of allied pirates who had gathered around him for many years, deciding to fight alongside him, as well as his precious sons. His unrestrained gaze was locked onto the sorrowful boy shackled on the execution platform. This. Marineford, how did I get here? Newgate felt as if everything was real, but within, he could still hear the enchanting song of that young girl at the base of the light screen. Is this the effect of that song? In this experience, Whitebeard felt as if he lived it with his body and soul much more than the feeling he had when he read the manga last month. A mere song made him relive the atmosphere of the war up close. South Blue, Batarilla. From the moment the song started playing, Rouge felt as if her soul left her body and entered a new world. She arrived at a place where she could feel the gentle breeze on her face, but her tears wouldn't stop flowing, soaking the newspaper in her hand. The headline on the newspaper was "Large Execution of the Pirate King." Rouge didn't understand what was happening, but she saw through another's eyes everything vividly, from the moment of Roger's execution announcement to the moment when the Marines and world government surrounded Batarilla in search of Roger's offspring, and then to the moment Ace was born after a full 20 months, almost a year of delayed birth. Rouge felt all the pains of the other throughout that period, which vanished completely the moment Ace was born, replaced by immense happiness. Rouge lived that experience as if it were real just by listening to Yuta's song. Roger didn't know this. Outside, Roger returned home carrying 2 manga volumes. One for his wife and one for himself. He managed to get more than allowed because he bought one from the art store on his ship and another from the store in Batarilla. What a soul-stirring singer. This isn't an ordinary ability. This girl must be a devil fruit user. Roger commented as Yuta finished her song and the light screen disappeared. I'm almost certain she's the best singer in the world, isn't she? And she can't possibly be as young as she seemed on the screen, her voice suggests she's an adult. Could she be another character from the future brought by Rob to see the light early? Just like many others, most notably Luffy. Roger placed the manga volume he bought for his wife by the window without entering to disturb her and opened his own. He was ready to see what happened in the world after the war. How would things proceed from here on? At that moment, after everyone came out of the mesmerizing effect of Yuta's song and recalled all the memories of the Marineford War, millions of people bought their volumes and opened them with boundless enthusiasm. The title of the first chapter of the new arc was The Approaching Future. Chapter's events. Breaking news. The war is over. The Marines have won. The legendary pirate Whitebeard was defeated. Victory celebrations erupted in the Sabaody archipelago at that moment, with ordinary people delighted by Whitebeard's downfall. We're announcing Zaza from Marineford Bay. Underscore 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 underscore. Captain Drake. The subordinate receiving the broken signal from Marineford called out to his leader, revealed to be one of the rising supernovas, currently near the devastated Marineford. At the stage for the battle at the summit, there are 7 ships on the water of Marineford's bay. These men who will carry the new pirate age would not have missed this juncture in history for anything. They see the signs of war rising from Marineford as proof of the establishment of a new age. Looks like it's over. The Marines have won out. And things will change, said Drake. And they feel the age's frenzied flow upon their skin. In a little while, Whitebeard's territories will become seas of blood, said another supernova, Capone Beach. Blackbeard was the key. Make no mistake, he's going to become the eye of the storm. On his ship, Urge anticipated future changes due to Blackbeard. He saved someone who'll become an enemy one day. What the hell is he thinking? Exclaimed Scratchman Apu at that moment. What are you talking about, Apu? Trafalgar Law. Isn't he supposed to be known for his brutality? Everything is his fault. Bonnie shouted in hatred. We have to find him. Let's go. To the New World. Strange. What's wrong, Captain Hawkins? Straw Hat Luffy's chances of survival. No matter how many times I check, it never comes out to be 0. Now it's all over. Ha ha ha. What's over? Kid laughed sarcastically. A new age is dawning. The likes of which we've never seen. This beginning is quite expected. When a man dies, worms quickly start devouring his body until only bones are left. At that moment, Roger compared Whitebeard to a dead man's body and the supernovas to worms. Tisk, Blackbeard is the most dangerous worm. Undoubtedly, all those protected by Newgate will face a lot of harm. Just as what happened with my counterpart who was executed in the first chapter, they immediately started searching for my unborn son. The Marines and the world government, those bastards. They believe they are the ultimate good, even the public believes them and praises their achievements. How are they better than pirates? It's good that this manga will reveal everything you hide. The whole world will see the truth as it is, without distortion, without addition or omission. A wide smile appeared on Roger's face. Let's see what this final volume of the Summit War saga will bring. In Marineford, the atmosphere was tense due to the scarcity of volumes copied from Marigoa this time. The Marines who hadn't yet received their volumes were extremely sad and frustrated by this poor treatment. In the medical room and the safe residential area behind Marineford, Sengoku, Tsuru, and Zephyr gathered with the other admirals around Sakazuki, who was barely recovering. These rookies have the audacity to come this close to Marineford? Sengoku felt anger seeing so many supernovas so close to Marineford after the Summit War. They all seem acceptable to me and pose no significant threat, but I am deeply annoyed by merely seeing the face of that scoundrel named Eustace Kid. I just want to knock him out. Borsellino spoke with irritation. Chapter 779, Whitebeard is still here. North Blue, Minion Island. Given that Fallen Noble Island, where the nearest art store is located, is close to Minion Island and has recently been connected by a sea train, it was very easy to get the new manga volume or a copy of it as soon as possible. That's how Diaz Barrels got his volume, along with his crew and son. Here you are again, silent as always. Do you think you missed out on participating in the Summit War, unlike Luffy who sacrificed everything to join? Diaz Barrels said in a gentle tone. I don't know what he's thinking, replied young Dory, referring to his counterpart, Drake. Of course you don't, but you can feel what he feels, can't you? What a great predictor. Of course, Whitebeard's territories will destroyed. Ha ha ha. In the West Blue this time, Capone Beach was happy to see his counterpart appear in the manga again. As one of the supernovas, How far do you think I'll go, Lee guys? Beej asked. You'll go far, boss, for sure. Yes, I agree with the third brother. Your counterpart will definitely become a Yonko. Oh, seriously? Don't you think I'll end up joining my father in prison? Who would think that, boss? If anyone has such an idea, they deserve to die. Blackbeard is the key, that's right. Foo foo foo. The art store on Sky Island Burka was packed, but all eyes were on the man who had just laughed and said that. Priest Urage looks much kinder than his manga counterpart. Speak quietly, he might hear you. Since he became a pirate, it means he has evil in his heart and doesn't deserve to be a priest. But not all pirates are evil. Sabaody Archipelago. What's the matter, Oyaji? Why are you staring at me? Inside the art store, Yamapo looked at his father in confusion, who was smiling at him. I feel great pride in you, my son. You'll grow up to be a great villain. Unlike Trafalgar Law, who went to save Luffy. Your counterpart already condemned that act. You must be a great enemy for them, as they will definitely team up. As the smile on young Apu's face grew bigger and bigger, his father's smile turned to mockery. And they'll kick your butt easily. Ha! Sorbet Kingdom. Peace had prevailed in this kingdom since the narcissistic former king was taken care of years ago. Although Kuma had removed his crown and returned it to the former royal family, it did not affect the lives of the residents. After all, their king, Kuma, was the reason they got an art store on this island. The art store meant that this place was worth living in. The same was true for the Revolutionary Army, who had taken this kingdom as their official headquarters even if the whole world knew that no harm would come. After all, the Revolutionary Army did not work in secret as in the manga, but openly and in the light. They even recruited people in the global forum. The world government could only see this and grind their teeth in anger and hatred. The bounties they placed on their enemies' heads no longer meant anything since the hunters didn't acknowledge them either. Who do you think your counterpart is looking for? Inside the art store, Kuma asked his daughter Bonnie, whom Rob decided not to erase from this world after realizing her imaginary existence. The man who did all that to you, it must be Vegapunk, Bonnie replied in a sad tone. Vegapunk must know that too. The strange thing is thinking that the story's protagonist will die, little brother. In the art store on Yellowstone Island, Archa mocked her little brother's wrong assumptions. But my counterpart doesn't know that Straw Hat Luffy is the protagonist, replied young Hawkins calmly. South Blue, Karate Island. Today, the small Eustace family came to the nearest island with an art store to enjoy a beautiful weekend. But seeing the evil smile on Eustace kid's face spoiled the man and woman's mood. This child is really going to become a great villain in the future, said Father Eustace sadly. We won't let him become that, will we? The mother was holding the child in her arms. Chapters Events. East Blue, West Blue, South Blue, North Blue, and the Grand Line. Whitebeard said it. One Piece is real. Let's go find it. The sea still holds unseen dreams. Everywhere, pirates were raging because of what Whitebeard said about One Piece in his final moments. As if it had already been written in history. The news was whittled down as it spread, until the only word carried throughout the oceans was the Marines' victory. Extra! Extra! Whitebeard is dead. Newspapers flew everywhere to deliver the breaking news. The world grows restless at this news. The Marines have won. Thank God. Ordinary people who simply hated pirates were overjoyed. The Marines are invincible. Salute the heroes. You woo. Someday. I'll become strong enough to get called to headquarters. The Marines from the branches were also excited. The people didn't notice. You wah. Don't come any closer. Don't come into the town. This island is. On a certain island with Whitebeard's pirate flag, it seemed as if chaos was escalating. Gahaha, This island is, what? Whitebeard's territory? Yeah, it was. But what is it now? You've heard the news, right? A pirate cut Whitebeard's pirate flag in half. That flag doesn't mean a damn thing now. He's dead. With Whitebeard gone, the world is ours for the taking. Kaya. The rampage of pirates terrified the women and children on the island. Burn this image into your eyes. This island is now ours. I'm the great pirate Brownbeard. You-wo-ho. The Marines have won, but that outcome doesn't necessarily bring peace. With the threat of Whitebeard's wrath gone, chaos has begun in Rains. Calm belt. What tragic consequences. Marco felt horrified after seeing the consequences of Whitebeard's pirates' destruction. This is already expected, Whitebeard spoke with dark eyes and an ugly expression. What were you expecting? This is the pirate world we know. Stussy added sadly. If you fall today, everything you protected yesterday will be taken. Whitebeard nodded in acknowledgement. A heavy feeling of sadness weighed on his heart as he watched these scenes after his counterpart had already gone to the other side. What a rotten world, to the core. Joseph felt extreme anger as he saw Whitebeard's pirate flag, which he carried in his heart, being cut as if it no longer mattered. Brownbeard? Even insects can get a scene in this manga. Vista wanted to cut this wretched pirate into pieces and feed his flesh to sea monsters. He didn't want more than that. It seems that after Oyaji's death, the world forgot that Whitebeard's pirates were not completely destroyed, and they're still here. Just imagining this fate for them made Marco nervous. Going through it in the manga was already a terrible experience. What is much worse is not drawn in the manga, apparently. Rob only showed the tip of the iceberg. There must be looting, theft, murder, and rape everywhere on the islands that my counterpart used to protect. Why don't you let the world know the consequences of my death, Rob? Unfortunately, Rob was not here to answer Whitebeard's emotional question at this moment. On Jaya Island, where most of the remaining pirates in the first half of the Grand Line gathered, the new manga release was already on fire. Most of the pirates inside the art store were laughing and mocking Whitebeard's fate in the manga. Of course, they did this in their hearts because the real Whitebeard had not died, unfortunately. He was still at his peak. Even the Marines with all their might had to worry about his presence, not to mention nameless pirates like them. But a certain pirate was sweating in the corner after seeing what his counterpart did in the manga. Brownbeard? Isn't that me? Well, from this day on, my nickname will be Beardless. The large man grabbed the sword at his waist and shaved off his beard entirely without the slightest hesitation. This man was Brownbeard, who had recently gone out to sea. Chapter 780, Sanji, Reiju, and Hiyori. All for love. Chapter's events. Your Trafalgar Law, from North Blue, right? You have my thanks for saving my life. At this moment, Jimbei emerged onto the submarine's deck. His wounds were bandaged, and he had received medical care as well. If you don't sleep, you'll die, said Trafalgar Law. My heart won't calm down, it's futile. What I've lost this time was too important to me. Jimbei sighed sadly, especially when he remembered Luffy. And compared to that, Luffy's loss was even deeper. When he lost consciousness, it must have been a defense mechanism to prevent him from losing his life. I'm more worried about what happens when he wakes up. Jimbei was genuinely concerned about this. You, beast. Do you have a denden mushi? The beast Hancock referred to as Beepo, who responded quickly. We do. Ah. Yes, we do, sorry. Two other members of the Heart Pirates spoke up behind Beepo. It must be nice, being like the Empress's slave. Hancock looked at Jimbei, Law, and Ivankov and said, if we call the Kuja pirate ship, we can pull this submarine across the calm belt. She then added, if the government learns that Luffy is alive, they'll definitely come after him. We'll hide him on the Isle of Women. And if I'm still one of the Shichibukai, he can safely recover there. Amazon Lily. It seems our princess is sad about the misery and pain that befell her beloved. Gloriosa took the initiative to tease the young Hancock who was with her today. Fufu, it's clever to repeatedly exploit her position as a shichibukai to help Luffy in every way possible. Shaki also added. Will Luffy be alright? The young Hancock seemed worried about Luffy's safety, especially after seeing the last scene of him in the medical bed with all those medical devices keeping him alive. Of course, he will be. Isn't he the protagonist of this story? Without him, it would completely end, wouldn't it? There would be no more Straw Hat Pirates, and no one would inherit Ace's will too. And no one would become the next Pirate King, leaving the world in the wrong hands forever. At that moment, Rob emerged from the teleportation room, his words arriving before he did. Rob appeared in the art store lobby, carrying 3 infants in his large and strong arms, doing his best to hold them gently. Seeing the 3 babies in Rob's arms, both Gloriosa and Shaki instinctively smiled. These 3 babies were the new members of Rob's large family. The baby with yellow hair was Sanji, his son with Sora. The baby girl with black hair was Reiju, his daughter with Sora. For some reason, she inherited her father's hair color and his pale yellow eyes, although her overall appearance was not much different from the original. The baby girl with green hair was Hiyori, his daughter with Toki. They were born only 15 days ago and hadn't completed their first month yet. After much thought, Rob decided to give them their true names to preserve the essence of their characters. However, in this life, they were his biological children instead of belonging to other characters, after he seized the fates of these characters from their original fathers, as he was their mother's husband in this life. Rob smiled and handed his newborn children to Gloriosa and Shaki to care for temporarily. They held them with love and care as if they were their own children, even Shaki, who had no romantic relationship with Rob and was Rayleigh's lover. Rob looked at his adopted daughter, Hancock, who, after consuming the love fruit, became more beautiful as time passed. Do you feel that Luffy won't overcome this calamity? Rob asked with a smile, patting her head. What he has gone through so far is utterly unbelievable. I feel incredibly sad for him, she replied with a sorrowful expression. He did everything he could to save his brother, but in the end, he couldn't and watched him die. I feel it's impossible to overcome this, she added. Don't worry, he will get through it, Rob reassured her gently, ignoring the strange looks from both Shaki and Gloriosa. It was as if they were thinking to themselves, when did this stern man accept his daughter's intense attraction to another man with such a kind smile? What they didn't know was that Rob was silently crying inside. That rascal Luffy stole my daughter's heart even before he was born. Damn you, dragon, stop searching for Luffy's mother, we don't need another Joy Boy anymore. Miles away from the sea surface, in the dark depths of the ocean, the massive forms of sea kings appeared and disappeared occasionally. They were all waiting for the appointed day near Fishman Island, but recently, they began to get restless. Will the promised day really come? When will the 2 kings meet? Have they even been born? Unfortunately, what they didn't know was that the mermaid who was supposed to give birth to the next mermaid princess had been taken away by Rob from Fishman Island, and their King Neptune was still without a wife at this moment. Inside the art store in Mermaid Bay, Susan, with the help of her lovely daughter Shirley, was mixing various drinks so the cute waitresses could deliver orders quickly to every customer. Among the customers waiting for their orders, there was Jimbei, who had a sad expression at this moment. Trafalgar Law has been added to the list of good humans deserving of your favor, hasn't he? Fisher Tiger, who noticed Jimbei's sad expression, spoke up. Regardless of his motive, he saved my counterpart's life, and that gratitude is significant indeed. So, you're right, Jimbei nodded in acknowledgement. What if Trafalgar Law's motive behind this was to exploit Luffy for some purpose of his own? Tiger drank his glass of wine before saying that. Well, in that case, my counterpart wouldn't stand idly by, I believe, unless Luffy agreed to his request. But Luffy must first overcome this calamity. Like my counterpart, I'm genuinely worried about seeing Luffy after he wakes up. Jimbei sighed, expressing his sorrow. At that moment, Tiger patted him and said, "Don't worry, you're up to the task. I bet your counterpart will be the one to help him overcome this calamity. Your presence will be a great help to him in the tough times ahead. Trust in that." Jimbei looked at Tiger in astonishment. He didn't know why his elder brother had such great confidence in him. Don't look at me like that, just keep reading. I have a feeling your counterpart will do wonders. Yuwa. Not far from Fisher Tiger and Jinbei's table, Frankie was still crying under the influence of Yuta's song and the summary of the Marineford arc. Hey! Kid, you're annoying, stop crying and let us read the volume in peace, Iceberg shouted in annoyance. Don't be harsh on your brother, he's just very sensitive, that's all, Tom said with a smile. Hancock wants to provide protection for Luffy even at the expense of her entire people. What a determined woman. Is this what love does? Kokoro, busy delivering customers' orders, would always come to steal some time with Tom and the kids. Ta ha ha. That's right, all for love, dear. Just like you're doing now. If Susan sees you delaying your work, it will be hard to explain it to her. That's also for love, isn't it? Hearing that, Kokoro blushed and hurried away. After her appearance was changed by the diluted blood potion, seeing such reactions was a gentle solace for Tom and the others. That wraps up this part of What If Becoming a Mangaka in One Piece World. Thanks so much for listening. As always, new parts drop every 4 days, so be sure to stay tuned. Also check out my Patreon channel for early releases of all the series, where you can find all the series released one day ahead of YouTube. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, subscribe, share it with your friends, and please consider supporting the original author as well. See you in the next one.